Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Spann official podcast. I'm your host, Mr. Spann, and this is episode number 100 of the show, y'all. 100. Yeah, man, we did 100 of these things under the Mr. Spann official banner, man. So, yeah, I'm happy about that, man. Happy to still be doing it, man, because a lot of podcasts, I'm gonna tell you right now, could not get to 20. Some of them couldn't get to 5. So the fact that we still doing this here all these years later and we had 100 on this particular show, man, very proud very proud to be able to do it. And very proud of the fact that I'm still, I still feel passionate about doing it. You know what I mean? Because like I said, it's been a long time, man. Been a long time since I've been behind this mic and doing this thing here, man. But before we get into everything, I got to remind you guys how to get in touch with us over here at the Miss Spann Official Podcast and let your voice be heard. You can go ahead and hit up the hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Go ahead, leave those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. And if you're watching the show here live here on Facebook and or YouTube, go ahead, hit up that hotline. Call me during the show. We can chop it up during the show. That number, again, is area code 313-288-0485. You can also hit us up on Threads and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Also, go to our the Spann Report channel on YouTube, man. Go ahead, type in the Spann Report or Mrs. Spann Official and subscribe to the channel, man. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Like the videos, man. Comment on the videos. Those comments will be responded to here on the channel, especially if it has something to do with what we're talking about, because you got to screen through a lot of those things, man. But for those of you who would like to consume the show on YouTube or Facebook, man, I'm sorry, but like on YouTube in particular, go ahead and subscribe to the show, man. Like the videos and comment on the videos, man. We really do appreciate you guys for doing it, and that helps us out in like getting into the bloodstream of the YouTube thing, man. That algorithm is nothing but a bloodstream. We want to jump into that bloodstream, and so let everybody else know that you like what we got going on over here at Miss Spann Official as well. And also on Spotify and iTunes, leave us a 5-star review. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get right here live on the show. We really appreciate everybody who does that. Doesn't cost you a dime. Just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Miss Spann Official Podcast and the Spann Report Podcast Network in its entirety. And also, hit us up at our store, man. The store link will be in the show notes. Go ahead, copy yourself some merch, man. Go ahead, get yourself a hat or a t-shirt or a hoodie because, it's not going to be warm outside for too long. So it's going to get, a little chilly a little later on. So have your shit ready, man. Have your fly Mrs. Spann Official shit ready, man, for when you want to step outside, man, and stun on them, right? Yeah, man, but we really do appreciate you guys for helping us out in that way. But, honestly, that's like for those of you who would like to give us money, we would like for you to get something tangible back in return. So we really do appreciate everybody who does that, man, real talk. But, yeah, man, it's been a couple weeks since the last time I talked to y'all. I know last week I was quite busy, man. I was at my high school. Well, okay, so understand. Your man Spann is from both Chicago and Detroit, man. I'm born in Chicago and went to school a large part of my life here in the Detroit area. And so I went to Cooley High School here in the Detroit area, man. And every year they do an all-class, like, Cooley weekend, reunion weekend and stuff like that. So I went to a couple of the events, man, and I had myself a ball. It's always a good time to go and see some old classmates, man, and do some grown-up shit, you know what I'm saying? I went to a white party, man, at this place. I want to say it was Club 1440 in downtown Detroit. It was really nice, man. I had a really good time. I had too much time. I had too much of a good time down at Club 1440. Yeah, man. The doubles is like they were sneaking up on your man Spann, man. And so yeah. I can't remember some of the shit that happened that night. That's how bad it got. Nah, man, but ultimately, like I said, we had a good time down there, man. And then also we had the Cooley picnic at the Riverside Marina, man. And so, I mean, like I said, every year they do this. It's an annual thing, and it's all classes, so it's always kind of good. Like, you go down there, and no matter which event you go to, you got people from the class of '79 partying with the class of 2006 or some shit like that, man. But it's always a good time. It's not. It's not a bunch of bullshit going on. I'll give y'all this, though. Like, some years ago, it kind of was when he was holding the shit in the neighborhood and stuff like that. And, you parking in front of people's houses and some people, being disrespectful and everything like that. You might run into some friction. But when you hold these events in places where you don't lend, you don't give people the opportunity to behave in that way. It tends to go off, a bit better. So I had a good time with that, man. And again, for those of you, who do the high school reunion thing every year, I know people like, because I know a lot of folks who, wait, oh shit, my watch talking to me and shit. Okay, stop. Damn. But no, I know a lot of folks who did not necessarily have a great experience in high school. They tend to like shun these events and stuff like that, and that's fine. I get it, man. But it's like I know for me, man, like it just really sometimes I get a chance to see folks I haven't seen in a very long time, and it's always a good time for me to go like just kind of mingle out with amongst some people and whatnot. So it's always good. But other than that, man, I don't really have a whole lot going on. I did have one random thought though, right? And I was watching some shit on TV the other day, man. And white folks who are listening to me right now, I need y'all to step to the front of the congregation right now. I got a question to ask y'all, man. Real talk. Are y'all like the picks or it didn't happen people? You know what I mean? Like, are y'all like the epitome of the picks or it didn't happen people? So the only reason I'm asking this is because I watched this show. It's something about natural disasters. And it was about these people that's chasing storms and shit, right? Now, very seldom do you find people like myself who look like myself who have, the complexion that I have. Very seldom do you find us out here chasing storms and shit. But I'm watching this show, man. And it's like these dudes is like they chasing these tornadoes and shit, and they're trying to live stream the tornadoes. They're chasing the storm, and like there was this one instance where this tornado was coming across the road, and the person in front of the guy who's chasing the storm, they like, I don't want no parts of this. I didn't know the damn storm was coming, and they trying to back up, but the guy who's actually chasing the storm is upset that these people trying to get the fuck away from the storm. Like, why y'all trying to run me over? It's like, hey, dude, what are you doing though? What are you doing? And then there was another guy who he's in the middle of a tornado. And he's out. He's not in a vehicle or anything. He's just outside, and he's recording this shit. And I think he said the winds were like 150, like 130 miles an hour or some shit like that. And there's debris and shit, flying in the damn wind and stuff like that. And he even says that the whole time I'm thinking, hey man, something might just fucking hit me. And I'm thinking the same shit. I'm like, man, when I see storm, I go downstairs. This motherfucker see storm, he goes outside. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. And so, like, I wonder, man, like, y'all do shit like that, man. Like, y'all like some adventurous motherfuckers. And it's like, picks or it didn't happen. Because these people were adamant that they had to get it on social media, man. Oh, get that on the stream, man. Get that on the stream. Like, bro, what are you doing? What are you fucking doing? And then there was another thing I saw on Threads earlier this week. Actually, was it earlier? It was yesterday. I saw yesterday this young lady went into a tiger enclosure, and the tiger was being very, he was being playful. It was almost like, how like when you watch like an animal play with his food before he's getting ready to eat. That's kind of how this tiger was treating this little young white lady. I think she's like 24, 25 years old or some shit like that. And like he's got her arm in his mouth or whatever, but he's not really like, chomping down. He's just like, just kind of playing around. Like, and I'm thinking to myself, like, and she's like, oh my God, like this is fun. And of course somebody's standing there and they're recording it and shit. And I'm just thinking like, yo, man, that's, no. Absolutely fucking not, man. Y'all some wild motherfuckers, man. I gotta give it to y'all. Y'all are some of the most adventurous motherfuckers on the planet. Because I'm telling you right now, I see that shit. Nah, man, I'm going out. Nah, I'm cool. He's straight. I don't want to bother him. He don't want to bother me. And I'm gonna respect that. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna respect that. It's like when that buffalo shot up granddaddy up into the air, man. That buffalo, like, hey, man, respect my motherfucking space, man. How would you feel if I came up into your spot taking pictures and shit, nigga? Like the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, that was on my mind, man. I was thinking about that, man. Picks or it didn't happen. White folks are the ultimate picks or it didn't happen people, man. Real talk. So, we got that going on, man. But, yeah, that is it. I don't really have any more what you would call random thoughts or anything. Let's get into these stories, man. The first story that we got coming up here, we've got, Congress is getting involved with the WNBA over Caitlin Clark, y'all. They're very protective of this young lady. So we get the story here. This comes out of ESPN.com. Is there a video attached to this? Oh, yeah. Well, no, this is just about her taking a foul. Yeah, she got a hand to the neck. So, yeah. But I'm going to read this story here. This comes out of ESPN.com. It says a group of 11 Republican lawmakers led by U.S. Representative August Floger of Texas sent a letter to WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert on Wednesday demanding the league take accountability for multiple attacks against Indiana Fever star Caitlin Clark. In the letter, Clark is described as the face of your league and someone who has generated fan interest, increased television ratings, and new corporate sponsors. It suggests that the third-year guard is on the receiving end of unnecessary physical hostility and violence, such as hip-checking, eye-poking, and recently being struck in the throat. The lawmakers said they were concerned by reports that attacks against Clark may be racially motivated. Who are making these reports, though? That's the question. Who are making these reports? As commissioner, you have an obligation to ensure that every player competes in a safe and professional environment, both on and off the court, free from violence, discrimination, or retaliation, the letter said. If discrimination or retaliation is occurring and creating a hostile work environment, we support any appropriate investigation by the Department of Justice, the Department of Labor, or the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission. If true, such conduct should constitute violations of federal civil rights laws. You got to be fucking kidding me, man. Oh, better yet, no, not that one. This is the one. Because real talk, that sounds real.
Think of how stupid the average person is, and then realize half of them are stupider than that.
Think about this for a second, man. Now, already off top, they talking about Caitlin Clark is the face of the WNBA. That just goes to show how little these people and most people paid to the WNBA to be saying something like that, because she's not even the best player in the league. Asia Wilson is the best player in the league, and she plays for the Las Vegas Aces. Asia Wilson is the current WNBA MVP. She's a champion many times over in that league. Caitlin Clark is not any of those things at this current moment. Now, one of the things I think is interesting is that, when they talk about her being the face of the league, I think it's because they are now just becoming aware that the WNBA is actually a pretty dope product, and these women can really play ball. It's not a vertical game where they jumping out of the gym and they dunking on motherfuckers, but they can actually they have very good fundamentals. They shoot the ball very well. They pass the ball. They distribute the ball. They play good defense, and they also play very physically. These women ain't out there just on some bullshit. They out there balling. And so the fact that you have Republican Congress people taking this to the level of, hey, we're going to have the Department of Justice and we're going to have the Department of Labor and we're going to have the Equal Opportunity Employment Commission take a look into how y'all practices on how y'all treat this one white lady, right? This one white lady. We're going to bring down the full weight of the United States government because this one white lady that we all pay attention to might be getting her ass handed to her in this league that everybody thought that she was going to run roughshod over. And she's just not. She's just not, she's just not playing up to that snuff right now. That's not to say that Caitlin Clark can't ball. Hell, I'm pretty sure Caitlin Clark could probably ball most motherfuckers out of the gym, including some of you niggas, right? Right? But the idea that the United States government is now stepping foot and is trying to get involved with the fact that how these women play against her, it should be concerning in everybody, right? Especially when you talk about these are the Republicans that told you they wanted to get the government out of the way, and yet here the government or these Republicans trying to go out of their way for this one particular white lady in the sports league. It says the group of lawmakers requested that Engelbert and the WNBA reply to his letter no later than July 24th with answers to 3 questions about the league's review process for physical hostility and violence on the court, how the league holds players accountable for overly aggressive acts on the court, and what steps the league is taking to protect players from online harassment. Now, would you be talking about the online harassment that some of these black women have been getting in regards to how they play against Caitlin Clark? Have y'all talked about that? I doubt very seriously that they really have. I don't think they've really taken that into consideration at all. A lot of these women, a lot of these black women who play in this league have been receiving death threats, have been receiving racial comments in their social media and everything else, just based on whatever interaction they may have had with Caitlin Clark on the basketball court. It's got to be very embarrassing for Caitlin Clark if she's not with the shit, right? Now, as much as Caitlin Clark can come out and say, "Hey, listen, I respect the women of the WNBA. I respect the pioneers of the WNBA. A lot of these women were women that I looked up to, I wanted to play in the WNBA because of these women. And a lot of them were black women. She could come out here and say that all she wants, but the sad reality of the situation is because of the political nature that we have in this country right now, is that there's a lot of white folk who have attached great white hope status to a Caitlin Clark. They want Caitlin Clark to be the face of the league, to say, hey, yeah, see, we got them in this one. The best player in the league is this little white girl, right? Despite the fact that even right now, that might not even necessarily be true. Because like I said, Asia Wilson is the best player in the WNBA at this current moment. So, yeah, I think it's just embarrassing, bro. Like, I think it's embarrassing that, like, anybody who, especially for these Congress people, like, y'all ain't got shit better to do. Like, right now, y'all's number one concern is how the WNBA is officiating women's basketball games when we've got food costs going up across the country, when people are losing out on health care, gas costs are going up across the country. We've got a war going on in Iran, but y'all are worried about whether or not they calling fouls sufficiently enough for this white girl in the WNBA, a league that, let's keep it a buck also, that a lot of these motherfuckers swore up and down they didn't even give a damn about until Caitlin Clark came into that goddamn league. Most of these people talk about how they didn't even watch women's sports. Now all of a sudden they're so invested that they want to get a congressional, they want to put the congressional thumb on the scale on behalf of Caitlin Clark. That's, like, again, like I said, it's got to be fucking embarrassing for her, man. Real talk. And yeah, man. So yeah, you got that going on. Congress, Republicans, y'all are fucking embarrassing. Another story that we got going on, man. Boosie Badazz, man. Boosie Badazz was in the news earlier this week, man, for some embarrassing ass reasons, man. Oh, man. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, but this shit is fucking funny, man. This shit is fucking funny, man. So Boosie Badazz got in trouble last year for having a gun. Now y'all know Boosie is he's a felon. He's not supposed to have no guns at all, right? So anyway, he got caught with the gun, and he's gonna suffer some consequences for having the gun as a felon, right? Well, Boosie thought that he could go ahead and pay his way out of this shit. So he got in touch with some people that he thought was involved with Trump, and he paid up to $600,000 for the prospect of getting him a pardon. He thought he can pay $600,000 and he was gonna get a pardon from Trump. But here's the thing. He paid the $600,000, but the motherfucking the pardon never came.
Think of how stupid the average person is, and then realize half of them are stupider than that.
Man, not only that, bro. Not only that, man. You think about how, think about this for a second, man. You know how fucking dumb you got to be a criminal, pay a bribe to get a political favor done, and then come to social media telling everybody on social media that you paid for the fucking bribe, then mad that you didn't get what you paid for, come to us complaining that you didn't get what you paid for, while at the same time, nigga, you are actually admitting to a goddamn crime in front of everybody. Nigga, what are you doing?
Oh, man. Hey.
Yeah, man. So we're going to read this story. We're going to read a bit from this story from Rolling Stone. It says the rapper reportedly played a team of lobbyists to secure a presidential pardon over a handgun charge. He is now asking for a refund. Let's see. Let me get rid of that ad there. It says, turns out President Trump's taste for endless pardons has its limits. According to a report from Notice published Monday, the rapper Boosie Badazz paid a team of lobbyists $600,000 in hopes that they could secure a pardon from Trump from the federal charges he's incurred from illegally possessing a handgun in 2023. Boosie, born Terrence Hatch, is now demanding $300,000 refund from J.M. Berkman and Associates, the team of Washington, D.C. lobbyists made up of Jacob Wall and Jack Berkman, who claim they are not contractually obligated to return any payments. Now, for those of us who pay attention to the politics, right, the names of Jack Berkman and Jacob Wall should be familiar to you, because these people were convicted of sending out millions of robocalls and trying to get people to not vote. They were giving out bad information. They were sending out all these robocalls trying to suppress the vote, and they got convicted here in Michigan, I believe it was, for their robocall activity. I believe it. I believe that's what that was. That's what that was for. But these two dudes are the same two dudes that this dude just gave $600,000 to. It says earlier this year, Boosie was sentenced to time served, along with 3 years of supervised release and 300 hours of community service, according to the rapper's lawyer. Though he violated those conditions in May when he was accused of striking a security guard. Oh, goddamn, man. Come on, man. Nigga! Yeah, man, striking the security guard over the head with a hookah base. Facing more court charges this fall, Boosie, who claims a 2023 incident where he brought a loaded handgun to a video shoot was nonviolent and isolated, sought the help of Wall and Berkman in obtaining a presidential pardon. And to be fair, Trump's generous taste for pardons has found him issuing them at 8 times the rate of a former President Biden, even including letting the January 6th Capitol rioters off the hook after he took office. But can you actually buy a pardon? No, that would constitute bribery, though language pertaining to how that would actually implicate the president himself is more murky. Various bills, such as the 2020's "No President is Above the Law" Act, have been introduced to clarify this language, though they have made no progress. Trump's thirst for pardons, however, has blossomed an entire economy built around lobbyists who claim they can cash in on their ties to the president for clemency, all for a fee. According to Notice, Boosie claims that he was led to believe that Wall and Berkman, who were talking like they had Trump on speed dial, could persuade Trump after Boosie failed to sway him during Black History Month. Oh, shit. They reportedly dropped names like Laura Loomer, Jack Posobiec, Mike Cernovich, and Erica Kirk, claiming they could help in the process. A representative for Kirk denied to Notice that she even knows who Boosie is, and at one point claimed that Trump had already signed the pardon. Now, here's the thing that I think is very interesting, right? Is that we have a bunch of like rappers, people involved in like, you know, the entertainment industry in somewhat, who have latched on to Trump in some ways, right? We've seen Waka Flocka, you know, go out and extol his support of Donald Trump. You've got people like I mean, even Nick Cannon was out here saying he kind of fucked with Trump, and then he started backtracking on the shit when people started getting his ass about it. You know, you've got I mean, there's a few, like, I mean, Amber Rose, you know, folks like that, some ancillary motherfuckers. But then you know, like you got Rick Ross motherfuckers, Snoop Dogg and Nelly, you know, all these motherfuckers who've kind of come out and in support of Trump. But one of the things that, you know, is very interesting about this is that it's always a quid pro quo with all of this shit. It's always transactional. So like you think about, you know, how Snoop was talking about Donald Trump before when he was like, Oz be the ones that goes performs for him, sir. When he was talking shit about everybody else who would go out there and do anything and do these things for Trump or Trump associated folk. And then you look up and one of his death row associates got pardoned by Trump, and then suddenly Snoop ain't got nothing bad to say about Trump no more. You know, you think about Nelly, who you know, he's like, I didn't get none of that money from Kamala Harris. I didn't get none of the 1.5 billion from Kamala Harris. So, you know, now, you know, when he goes out and performs for Donald Trump, it's like, okay, so I'm getting paid to do this, right? That I didn't get no money from Kamala, so I'm gonna go out here. It's all transactional, but the transaction comes with your credibility, right? The transaction is, okay, yeah, we'll pay you this money for you to come out here and perform for us. But what also comes with that is now your people gonna feel like, oh, you fuck with me, and because you fuck with me, then maybe we get some credence in these communities and whatnot. And I don't know if these rappers, you know, I don't know if they know that that's how they're being used in that way, but that's how they're being used in that way. And so you got you know, you got a certain part of the fan bases of every last one of these guys who they're like, oh shit, well, you know, I fuck with him because what's the name fuck with him. Think about Kanye West, man. You think about how, like, you know, no matter all of the shit that Kanye West has said and done over the course of the last 10 years, man, you still got a segment of folk who, despite all of that shit, is like, I still fuck with Kanye. And Kanye comes out, he's still in support of Trump and all this other shit. They like, well, fuck it. I mean, I fuck with Trump too because, hell, Kanye fuck with Trump. And it's like, all right, nigga, I guess, bro. But that's what comes with it. It's like almost the expectation that this is what they're supposed to do. But I think what this kind of exposes, though, is that this is the transaction. This is all transactional. It's not that Trump actually fucks with these guys. These guys are paying money for the access and the access to you get certain favors. It's not that Trump is doing this shit out of the kindness of his heart. Hey, they paying for this shit. And so much so that there's an industry popping up that they got lobbyists saying, well, yeah, I can get you the pardon, man, but if you got to pay me, you know what I'm saying, before you even get to that. Now, here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I think the reason why Boosie didn't get the pardon that he allegedly, was trying to bribe the Trump. The reason why he didn't get it, he just didn't pay enough.
Oh, yeah. There is powerful niggardry at work here.
He didn't pay enough. Them pardons are going for $1 million, $1 million and more. You only came up with $600,000. But that ain't enough. That might get you that's like a little fee or whatever, a little finder's fee for Jacob Wall and this Berkman cat. But nah, man, like you didn't pay enough money for the pardon. So now you out here bitching about the fact that you paid $600,000. Like, hey man, you didn't pay enough. Now you bitching about it. Now we really ain't gonna give you this shit. And good luck getting your money back, because now you out here admitting to bribing the fucking president, man. And
that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
It's not how it's supposed to work. It's not how it's supposed to work, but that's what's been going on, man. So, yeah, man, honestly, I was thinking about it. Come on, dog. Come on, man. You know that shit? As soon as I seen this, like, bro, you out here on social media complaining that you was trying to bribe motherfuckers and thought the world was gonna feel sorry for you, man. I couldn't fucking believe it, man. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, man, we got that going on. Boosie Badazz paying for pardons. Ain't that some shit, man? That's crazy. We got that going on. Another story that we got going on, man. So CNBC did this thing earlier last week, man, where they were talking about the 10 worst states to live in the United States, right? And of the 10 states that they named, the top 10 worst states to live in, all of them, and I say all of them, were states that voted for Donald Trump.
Yo,
no, that's the wrong. That's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. Oh shit, my thing.
Well, that'll be a monkey's bare-assed uncle.
There we go. But yeah, man. So CNBC, they did this study, man, and they talked about the 10 worst states to live in the United States. And yeah, MAGA is kind of upset about it. But I think we got a video here. This comes out of, as a matter of fact, yep, I got video here. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. Because I believe the state that I went to college in, Tennessee, came up in this list. And so they're definitely talking about it down there. So let me go ahead and pull this up so you guys can watch right along with your man Spann. And here we go. Let's see what they're talking about here.
A new national report ranks Tennessee last in the country for the quality of life. CNBC's annual Top States for Business study looked at factors like crime, air quality, healthcare, childcare, worker protections, and also state laws. Tennessee received a score of 64 out of 100 and earned an F grading for quality of life. The report says the state's biggest strength is its air quality, but it does point to crime, worker protections, and inclusiveness, I should say, it's a hard one, and some of Tennessee's biggest challenges. Rounding out the bottom 5 here are Texas, Indiana, Louisiana, and Georgia.
All right. So that's how they're covered it. I believe that's in Nashville. I want to say that's in Nashville, affiliate of NBC. I believe that is down there. But yeah, man. So that's how they were talking about it in Tennessee. Now, like I said, of course, MAGA isn't happy about this. They are upset about this. As a matter of fact, one of the more vocal people of MAGA who's most upset about this is one Laura Ingraham. The shut up and dribble lady, right? The shut up and dribble lady. She's upset about this. So she got on her show on Fox, and this is how they talked about it on her show. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up so you guys can watch right along with me here. Let me do this here. Boom, boom. And let's see exactly what she's talking about on her show.
Now check out this recent list. 650 CEOs were polled, and they rated the best states in which to do business. The top 10, including.
Okay. Off top, I'm gonna stop here real quick. But off top, she's talking about the CEOs, right? This is the place where she's talking about, like, this is how the CEOs view this. The CEOs aren't the average American person, right? They're just not. And so like the way in which they're trying to, like, she's already trying to frame this as though like, well, it can't be true because the CEO says this. Is interesting framing. I just want to put that out there.
In Texas, Florida, Tennessee, Georgia, South Carolina are Republican. They're run by Republicans, except Virginia, which is at number 10, and North Carolina, kind of a purple state, at number 5. So money and people, resources, are pouring into red states. So how do the socialists brush this off? Well, they do so either by ignoring it or distorting the data, or with a little help from their friends. This CNBC report just comes out.
So another thing that I think, sleight of hand there, we was talking about how did the socialists, how do they get around this? Y'all got to understand, CNBC is not like a socialist outfit. CNBC is actually kind of like center right. That is a business channel, right? That's like, you have Fox Business, but you have CNBC, which is, I think, is much older than Fox Business, business news channel, but they're a center right channel, man. There's no one has ever accused CNBC of being a left wing outlet ever. Right? Ever. But this is how she's trying to frame it.
Listed the 10 worst states to live in for 2026. All the states on this list, okay, Trump won. Every state except Georgia in 2020. And the list included 4 of the top 10 states for business. How does that make any sense? Well, they have kind of a weird calculus there, but this is obviously a blatant effort to dismiss and denigrate more conservative states, but it's really nothing new.
Yeah, so that's how she tried to that's how she tried to like kind of frame the discussion, right? Because again, she set it up as though, hey, the business people are saying this, but then here's this business channel who's going through all these other metrics, right? Hey, quality of life, environment, laws, inclusiveness, all these things that make a place that, would make a person want to stay here. These are the things that we would like to see more of. And these are the states who are doing a piss poor job of making those things available for folk, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and where's the actual article though from CNBC, so that we can actually get the methodology that they used. Okay. Okay, so because this is just about Tennessee. I don't want to do just Tennessee. Okay, so does it take me right to the report? No, this is just about Tennessee too. I don't want to do just Tennessee. All right. Here's what I'm gonna do. I guess I gotta search for the shit real time. All right. CNBC top 10 worst states. Boom. All right. There we go. So it says that they use crime rates, air quality, access, healthcare access, worker protections, and civil rights laws are among the factors that can hurt a state in the quality of life ranking. With more states touting their quality of life when trying to attract, businesses, CNBC is giving it more weight in the 2026 America's Top States for Business rankings. So as more companies insist that their employees return to the office, because again, we've gotten away from, the work from home stuff. Remember, they were trying to make sure everybody had access. They could work from home. They should here's what's fucked up about the entire thing is they're like, hey, you're working from home. They've shown that you have the ability to work from home, but yet and still they insist on you coming back to the office. And I said this years ago, they were paying way too much in these leases to have people at the crib working. They're like, hey man, we gotta justify these costs because we paying for this building, but ain't nobody in this bitch, right? So we gotta either make these motherfuckers come back or get rid of this building. But the building make us look like a much, like, it makes us look substantial, right? Appearances are a lot. So yeah, we either make these motherfuckers come back or we're gonna have to get rid of the building. One of the two. It says quality of place, especially investing in quality of place, is the top thing you can do for talent attraction and retention and site selection. Consultant Larry Gagrich, managing executive director of Genevis in Indianapolis and chairman of the Site Selectors Guild. CNBC is placing increasing emphasis on quality of life, one of the 10 categories of competitiveness in our annual America's Top States for Business study. It's our annual ranking for every state's business climate, now in its 20th year. So this isn't the first time they've done this shit. They've done it before. They've been doing it for 20 years. But now they are upset because the top 10 were all Republican states. The top 10 worst Well, all Republican states. It says to score the states for quality of life, we used hard data on factors like crime rates, air quality, and health care. We also consider the cost and availability of child care, inclusiveness of state laws, and reproductive rights. Now think about what those mean, right? Child care. Can you get affordable child care in that state? Or better yet, can you afford to have a baby in that state? Not just the child care. Can you afford it? On some real shit. Can you afford to have a child in this place? When it comes to inclusiveness in state laws, how many of these laws are implementing what we would call what's that? The bathroom laws, but they're worried about who the fuck goes to the bathroom to go do what? Whether to go piss or shit. They worried about who's going to the bathroom laws. They're worried about they're rolling back on DEI. How are you inclusive if you're rolling back on the things that would include more people? Those kind of things come into effect. Abortion rights. They talk about reproductive rights. Abortion rights. You got some of these states who are making it harder for women to get access to reproductive rights or reproductive care and when it comes to abortion or access to an abortion. And even so going so far as to try to, if the woman goes to another state and gets an abortion, trying to penalize her criminally for having an abortion performed in another state. Right. So these things are the things that like a lot of these Republicans have been pushing for the better part of the last decade. And so when it comes to, hey, man, these are the things that we count into the quality of life. Suddenly, these policies aren't necessarily looking good on you. And you thinking that like, oh man, they fudging the numbers. yeah. They had to figure out a way to make it look bad somehow. It's like, nah, man, y'all making yourselves look bad. And here's the other thing. They talk about all these people who are moving to southern states, man, and I get that. I know a lot of my friends, man, moved like from Chicago and Detroit, man, they moved down south, man. I know I got friends who moved like to Texas and shit, and I was like, man, there's no way in hell I would ever move to Texas because of the way I view my politics and shit. I'm like, I couldn't survive down there, bro. Like straight up, I just know how my politics are. I wouldn't do it. But I know a lot of my friends have, and some of them have, so much so that some of these states their demographics are changing. So a state like Georgia, who's had an influx of folks who were, like especially in the Atlanta suburban area, the metropolitan Atlanta area, have so many folks have moved into that area that now Georgia, who was a solidly red state, is now a purple state. And much the same way that you think about a state like Arizona, a lot of folks who are moving from the Midwest, moving from the East Coast, are moving to a place like Arizona, and now Phoenix area, that Maricopa County area has made that state, instead of just a Republican stronghold where you have folks like John McCain, who was voting against Martin Luther King holiday being a thing, to where now they have a Democratic governor, and they went with Joe Biden in the 2020 election, right? So much so that Donald Trump thought it was the shit was rigged. Right. So a lot of the movement that people have been making to those states, they bring their politics with them, and they've been changing the political landscape of these places. Now, I don't know if I would personally be able to do that. I applaud those of you who do that. But at the same time, this is what's happening. So it's not as if, we're escaping from these liberal places and these liberal hellholes, and we're moving to these conservative places. Like, no, when they move, they bring their politics with them, and then the politics start shifting within the state, right? So they don't necessarily want folks thinking on it in that level, but that's exactly what's happening. And so what we're going to start seeing, though, over the course of some of these demographic shifts, if more and more people start moving into some of these states like a Tennessee, like an Alabama, like an Arkansas. I don't know how many of y'all really trying to move to Arkansas, but like, no shade to my folks down in Arkansas. My grandfather was from Arkansas, you know what I mean? But, the point that I'm making is, the more those folks move there, the more the politics shift. And at the moment, right now, those states are representative of the worst of the United States as far as, hey, man, if you want to live somewhere, I don't know if these 10 states are the places you really want to go. Now, if you do go there, you're going to be a pioneer, right? You're going to be a pioneer. You're going to be a pilgrim, and you're going to you planting the flag, and hopefully some people follow behind you. But man, the top 10 worst states to live in America, all states that Trump won in 2024, man. Real talk. So we got that going on. Now, another story that we got going on, man. This has to do with all right, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna get through this quick. Riley Gaines, man. So of course, for those of y'all who listen to me enough, y'all know Riley Gaines is that swimmer girl from I believe she went to the University of Kentucky, and she lost to Leah Thomas in the women's swim finals or something like that. Well, she didn't actually lose. She tied with Leah Thomas. They both ended up 5th place, and she was upset that she didn't get the 5th place trophy for the picture, and you know, and all these things. And so she's essentially been one of those folk who has made it her life's mission now to speak out against trans athletes competing in women's sports, right? And so it just came out recently that Riley Gaines gets paid $25,000 per speaking engagement. $25,000. Let me see if I can find this article here. Where did I know it's here somewhere. I'll be damned. Did I erase that? Let me see if I can search for it. All right. Riley. Yep, there it is. Okay. Harris County. There we go. Boom. All right. So it says Harris County GOP paid anti-trans activist Riley Gaines $25,000 to speak. Former collegiate swimmer Riley Gaines has had a meteoric rise since tying for 5th with the transgender swimmer in 2022. Gaines has become a star conservative activist at just 25 years old, has spoken in state houses around the country against allowing trans athletes to participate in women's sports, and host a podcast on a Fox-owned outlet, Outkick, and she's had a little help from Texas Republicans. In June, the Harris County Republican Party paid Gaines $25,000 to speak at a party's annual Lincoln Reagan dinner. According to the report the party filed with Federal Election Commission, Greg Abbott also attended the dinner. Said the filing was reported as part of a larger investigation into Riley Gaines' business dealings and speaking fees done by partnership with Mother Jones and Madison Pauly and Pablo Torre of the podcast Pablo Torre Finds Out. Gaines' paid appearance at the dinner came as she was in the midst of a feud with the Houston athlete Simone Biles over trans inclusion in women's sports. That Gaines is paid to speak at the event is not unusual. Activists and former politicians of both parties often make their money by doing lucrative paid speaking gigs. For organizations like the HCRP, bringing a figure like Gaines to a fundraising dinner can help energize donors. And the HCRP wasn't the only group that paid to bring Gaines to an event. In 2023, Gaines was paid $13,929 by the Republican Central Committee of Nevada, as well as $3,000 to speak at an event in Kentucky per Pauly. The Harris County Republican Party didn't respond to Cron's request for comment. The filing, as well as Pauly and Torre's reporting, sheds a little more light on the business of Riley Gaines, a business that it turns out is booming. Now, here's the thing. Just in how we talk about this particular issue, one of the things that I thought was very interesting in the last political cycle of 2024 is that you had a lot of people who expressed a bit of skepticism on voting for Kamala Harris and voting for Democrats writ large, and most of them would tell you that the Democrats were focusing way too much on the trans issue, that the Democrats are trying to push this trans issue down everyone's throats and make it so it's like so that we all just have to be okay with it and all these other things, right? When ultimately it wasn't the Democrats who were pushing it at all. It's always been the Republican Party who has been pushing this and making this an actual an issue for folk. Because every time I ask this question, and I pose this question on social media every time this topic comes up, can you name any trans athletes competing in the high school level in your state without Googling it? And 9 times out of 10, I'm met with this. Nothing. But let the Republicans tell it. This is an issue that we see that is at the forefront of American life, right? That we got to protect these girls. And what are we protecting them from exactly? What are we protecting them from? And some of them would say, well, they're taking opportunities away from young ladies. How many young ladies have had an opportunity taken away from them from a young trans athlete? They can't tell you. because they can't even name one person in their state who's competing now. And in the off chance that they do, how often do they think that this person is going to go on to the collegiate level and take a spot that that another young lady could not have gotten or could have gotten, and she just taking a spot, right? Or that this young lady or the young lady who could have had that spot doesn't have an opportunity someplace else. In much the same way that you have to compete for everything when it comes to especially when it comes to colleges. Hey, I gotta have the grades to get into this place. I gotta have the test scores to get into this place. I gotta have the extracurriculars to get into this place. All of this shit is a competition, right? And so the fact that they've made such a minuscule part of our population such a lightning rod in the politics has always been amazing to me to kind of watch how they've been able to use that issue and make it such a lightning rod to where you got people thinking it was the Democrats who made it one when it was the Republicans the entire time. But also how lucrative it is for Riley Gaines to speak about this issue to the point where she can command $25,000 for a speech to speak about, her tying for fifth. Neither one of them won that race. There were 4 other women, right, who had better times than both her, Leah Thomas, and Riley Gaines. 4 other women had better times. We're not even talking about those 4 other women because of the way in which Riley Gaines has been operating out here in the world. Leah Thomas, we don't even hear from Leah Thomas anymore. Leah Thomas isn't out here competing competitively in women's sports, right? But Riley Gaines has been able to make a transition from the sport to the political realm, and it's been very lucrative for her. So I just thought it was very interesting that they paying this woman this much money for this particular issue, and it's I guess, because again, it's a made up issue. I've been saying this for a long time. It's a made up issue. So I wish more folk would actually just kind of think a little bit, just a step further on this. Why are they continuously talking about this, right? Why do they continuously demonize this small group of folk? Why do they do it? So we got that going on, man. Let's see what else we got going on, man. We got another story here. Why is everybody getting sick, man? A lot of motherfuckers getting sick, man. We get the, we had measles outbreaks and whatnot. We didn't had now we got this what's the name of this? It's the thing that make everybody go to the toilet, man. It's a parasite that making everybody go boo boo. Let me just go ahead and pull this up from USA Today, man. But yeah, so we got this. It's called cyclosporiasis. That's what it's called. Cyclosporiasis. There, got it out there. But yeah, man. So apparently, cyclosporiasis is ravaging through the nation, man. And apparently they've identified a lettuce supplier with the contamination of the lettuce. That is a source of all of these cyclosporiasis diagnoses. See, I did that. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and pull this video up so we can watch along together. So let me go ahead and do this so you guys can watch right along with me. Let me pull that up, and let me unmute that, pull this up, and let's see what they're talking about here at USA Today with this story.
Of cyclosporiasis are rising in Georgia, with health officials still trying to identify the source. The CDC reported 843 confirmed cases nationally as of July 9th, and more than 1,500 more are under investigation. In Georgia, confirmed cases have climbed to between 11 and 30, up from fewer than 10 last week. Cyclosporiasis is an intestinal illness caused by a living parasite found on fresh produce or in water. Symptoms can include watery diarrhea and frequent, sometimes explosive bowel movements, and they may last from a few days to more than a month. The CDC's Food Net once tracked 8 pathogens, but Cyclospora was removed from mandatory monitoring during recent agency changes under Secretary Kennedy.
If you're based in the Great Lakes region or in the...
All right, so that last thing was very important, is that they said that
northeastern U.S.
I'm sorry.
You might be seeing a lot.
The cyclosporiasis that they stopped screening for that at the CDC under the direction of John F. Kennedy Jr. And this isn't the first time that John F. Kennedy Jr. and some of his more what we could say unorthodox decisions has resulted in, health problems for a lot of people in the United States. We can go back to the fact that we actually had a measles outbreak over the course of last year because of some of the ways in which he was operating and the directives that he was given with the CDC. We get this here from NPR. It says South Carolina on Friday. Now, this story here is actually from earlier this year, January 16th of this year. It says South Carolina on Friday reported 124 new measles cases in the last 3 days, bringing a total number to 558 in the state's fastest growing outbreak. Cases have nearly doubled in the last week alone. We right now have the largest outbreak in the U.S. and it's going to get worse before it gets better. Dr. Helmut Albrecht, an infectious disease physician with Prisma Health and the University of South Carolina School of Medicine, said in a briefing Friday. Hundreds of people in other parts of the state are already in quarantine or isolation. The epicenter is in Spartanburg County in the northwest part of the state. The area has also seen a jump in students with non-medical exemptions to required school vaccines since the pandemic. New research published this week in the journal JAMA. I believe that's a journal associate. What does JAMA mean? I want to make sure I get this right. What does JAMA stand for? Not JAMA Network. Tell me what it stands for. Something about medical association. I'm sorry. They won't necessarily, they're not giving me the actual, it's just, yeah. It says finding these exemptions are growing in counties across the U.S., making them vulnerable to outbreaks. And concerns are growing that infections are spreading beyond the county. There have already been 6 cases in neighboring North Carolina linked to the Spartanburg outbreak, and 3 measles cases have been confirmed in Snohomish County, Washington, that are also connected to Spartanburg. Now, here's the thing, right? I grew up at a time where not a lot of kids had, measles because we were getting vaccinated against measles. And we also, there wasn't a chickenpox vaccination, but guess what? When's the last time you saw a kid with the chickenpox? Think about that. We ain't seen a kid with the chickenpox in a very long time, right? Because there's a chickenpox vaccine. Now, I had to suffer through the chickenpox. I'm jealous of these little motherfuckers, man. Right? I had the chickenpox. I got it from my boy Kevin. Shout out to my man Kevin. But yeah, I got it from his ass, man. And I remember being in Chicago on a trip to Chicago, man, and like suddenly that shit broke out, and my grandma breaking out the calamine lotion and the Gold Bond medicated powder and shit. And I'm trying hard not to scratch the motherfuckers, but it was itchy as hell, man. I remember that. I remember when we was kids, man. If somebody in the neighborhood got it, man, all the mamas and the daddy sent the kids in the neighborhood to that kid, like, hey, go ahead and fuck with him, so you go ahead and get it out the way. That's how we got out, man. So the fact that these kids can get the vaccine and the vaccine is available and we don't see the chickenpox no more, beautiful thing. But for whatever fuck reason, man, the internet has been a double-edged sword because the internet is the gateway to information, but the internet is also a gateway to misinformation. And a lot of motherfuckers went down that misinformation misinformation rabbit hole and they ain't came back. And now suddenly shit that we thought we eradicated has come back. And now we got one of those motherfuckers leading the goddamn Department of Health and Human Services. Elections have consequences, folks. So next time you go to the toilet and you got the explosive shits, thank John F. Kennedy Jr. because he decided that it would be a good fucking idea to let's stop looking for these pathogens. That's ultimately what the fuck he did with the CDC. Let's stop looking for this stuff, and if we stop looking for it, maybe it'll go away. No, nigga. That's not how it works, nigga.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Yeah, man. So we got folks getting the measles, we getting all these all these diseases that like we really shouldn't be dealing with at all if we'd have kept shit in place. But the fact that we have a government right now who doesn't feel as though it's their job to protect us, that they want to, like, here's the thing. Here's what I think is funny. Here's what I think is funny is that there are ways in which this government wants to get involved in your life, i.e., hey, we need to protect Caitlin Clark from fouls in the WNBA. But then there are ways in which this government doesn't want to be involved in your life. And that is, i.e., hey, man, this long, I mean, y'all ain't got to get the vaccine, nigga. But if you do, that's cool too. Just go ahead and get it, and get it out the way. That type of shit. And it's that whimsical ass way in which this government has been operating that is like, it's fucking up a lot of people. It's fucking up a lot of people. So, man, yeah, man, we got that going on. Now, I know it's already like an hour, damn near an hour into this show, and I ain't even really got into the shit I really want to talk about. So we're going to probably be here for like maybe another 25, 30 minutes. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But yeah, man. So this is what I want to talk about for real, though. So we've got a Democratic primary going on here in the state of Michigan. The one that has the nation's attention right now is the Democratic primary for Senate. And at first, it was a three-way race. It was Abdul El-Sayed, Haley Stevens, and Mallory McMorrow. Mallory McMorrow has since dropped out of the race. Okay, Mallory McMorrow is who I actually voted for. Let me get that out the way. I voted early. And I was kind of salty when right after I submitted my shit, Mallory McMorrow dropped out of the fucking race. I'm like, God damn it, man, just not that. It was more so like this. Yeah, man. I was like, man, really, you dropped out now, man? Because I really felt like Mallory McMorrow to me was like a little bit of both. She was a little bit of Haley Stevens. She was a little bit of El-Sayed, but interestingly enough, we're living in a time where the extremes are where people are right now, and they don't want, like, the nuance kind of gets pushed out of the way. Like, I don't want to call Mallory McMorrow a moderate, because I don't think she's a moderate at all. I think there were nuances to her positions in regards to taking corporate PAC money, in regards to her position on union support, on her position on Gaza, on her position on civil rights. I kind of lean towards her, right? And so since she dropped out, now my ballot is already gone. I'm like, fuck it, I ain't really got no horse in this race, right? I mean, here's the thing though, and this is something that I've said on this mic before. Like, whoever wins, I'm gonna end up voting for in the general. Whether it was going to be Mallory McMorrow, Haley Stevens, or Abdul El-Sayed, whoever wins the primary, I'm going to end up voting for them in the general. One of the things that I've always expressed is that because I don't have the luxury of being a one issue voter, I can't operate in a way in which a lot of the rhetoric online wants folks to operate. I think I actually represent a little bit more of kind of where, like, most of the people who aren't chronically online, I kind of feel like I kind of lean more towards like how they're operating as opposed to how we discuss this shit online. Because I think how we discuss this shit online is far removed from how people are talking about their politics, if they talk about their politics at all in real life, right? And so one of the things about this particular primary is that, like, it's got a backdrop of this particular thing. And I talked about this last time I was on the mic, where I was talking about, Blue Mag and all these other things. There's the ultra, I don't even want to call them ultra left, but there's the Democratic Socialists of America type people on the Democratic side, and then you got like the more traditional, hey, I'm a Democrat people, right? Then the DSA people are more kind of like, to me, I'm gonna just be frank, I feel like this is the Bernie bro, like Bernie Sanders wing of the party, and then there are the other folks who aren't necessarily rocking with Bernie Sanders. And I told y'all what my problems were with Bernie Sanders over the course of the last 10 years or so. And even with the problems that I have with Bernie Sanders, had Bernie Sanders won that primary, guess who I'd have voted for in the general? It'd have been Bernie Sanders. The problem I've always seen with those who are on that particular part of the left, or the DSA side of it, has been that they haven't always operated in the same way, and because they haven't operated in the same way, it has allowed right-wing entities to take over our government. This is how we ended up with Donald Trump the first time, and now we've got he ended up with 3 Supreme Court justices that he was able to appoint and bring down Roe versus Wade, and take down the Voting Rights Act, and take down various get rid of the temporary protective status and things of that nature, and ultimately, like, we get a 5-3 decision on, I'm sorry, a 6-3 decision on what was that, the 14th fucking amendment, right? Because he was able to name those Supreme Court justices, and then we get shit like the big ugly bill, or the big beautiful bill that they would call it, right? That takes out the subsidies for the Obamacare healthcare plans for folks who relied upon those subsidies to be able to pay for healthcare for their families and shit, like, and the eradication of the Department of Education, and the assaults on the Black history across the nation, and how we now have states like Texas who are trying to implement the fact that now they want the Bible being taught in public schools, right? Like no other religious book, no Bhagavad Gita, no Quran, none of that, just the Bible, right? And so, I don't want to rehash what I talked about last week, but the part that I want to get to this week is that I'm noticing how people are talking about the Democratic primary here in Michigan, and I gotta be frank, man. I'm a little pissed. I'm a little pissed because y'all talking to, like, y'all gotta understand, man. Something. Detroiters are a very proud people, in much the same way as the Chicagoans. Chicagoans are very proud people. And the way in which people are talking about this campaign between Haley Stevens and Abdul El-Sayed from people who don't live here, I gotta say, man, y'all are really insulting a bunch of people, especially, and I'll say it like this: for those of you who are Abdul El-Sayed fans, who are supporters of Abdul El-Sayed, y'all are not doing that man any motherfucking favors by how y'all are talking about Michigan voters and Detroit voters and Black Detroit voters in particular. Y'all are not doing that man any motherfucking favors by how y'all are talking about this shit online. Y'all not. Y'all are out here acting as though Black Detroiters don't know shit. Y'all are acting as though Black Detroiters don't know who the fuck these candidates are. Y'all are acting as though y'all are more familiar with who these people are than the people who actually fucking live here, and y'all don't even go here. And I'm gonna need y'all to chill the fuck out. I'm gonna need y'all to chill the fuck out. All right? And I say this as someone who doesn't even, like I said, I don't really have a horse in this race right now. My horse is gone, right? I ain't voting for neither one of these motherfuckers. Whoever wins this primary, that's who I'm voting for in the general. Let me make that very fucking clear. But the way in which y'all are talking about this particular primary, y'all are not doing Abdul El-Sayed any motherfucking favors when y'all talk about Black Detroiters and Black voters in Michigan as if they dumb and don't know who the fuck these people are. And your only fucking experience with these people is what you see online and how people are talking to you about these people online. You don't see the commercials that we see on the daily. You might see a bit of them, a little bit every now and again. You don't see how these people are campaigning out on here on the ground. You don't see how these people have been messaging to their voters and their constituents and stuff, or lack thereof, or like in mailers and stuff like that, right? You're not seeing that. All you're being fed is what you've been told online and how to think about this shit online. And then you get online to talk to like Michigan folks, and people from Michigan are like, wait, what? I'm supposed to vote this way because you say, and you live where? Oh, you in California? Oh, okay. Yeah, y'all got issues in California, but if I said, well, you need to vote this way or fuck you, and I don't know what the hell going on in your state, and I don't know how this vote is going to affect policy in your state. I'm just saying it because I'm an outsider and this is what it looks like to me. How often are you, I mean, how seriously are you going to take me when I'm not dealing with the issue that you're dealing with on the ground? This is why when like I said, with the Jasmine Crockett and James Tallarico thing, man, when that shit was going on between James Tallarico and Jasmine Crockett, I said, listen here, I as an outsider, I feel like they can't lose with either one of them. But I don't live in Texas, so who the fuck am I to tell them how the fuck they should move? And if people felt a certain way about how that campaign was run down there in Texas, who the fuck am I as somebody here in Michigan to tell somebody in Texas, well, you should still do this because, right? I don't live there. And I don't know what those folks are dealing with. So I'm going to keep my motherfucking mouth shut because that ain't my lane. That ain't my lane. But I've been watching how folks have been moving, and you know, we gonna talk about this. So I'm gonna pull this up, and I want to be very understood here. This young man, Jason Williams, man, I believe he's on the Jam Pod. I love those young men, man. I really do. I think they do great work. I've seen this young man on TikTok. I first became aware of this young man on TikTok. I love what he does, right? I just disagree with him vehemently here because he falls into this thing that I'm speaking on, where like they're talking to Detroit voters, Michigan voters, black voters in particular, as if we don't know what the fuck is going on in our very own home, right? So I'm gonna pull this video up. I saw this video. It came up on Threads. And so, I responded to it, man. He never really said anything, man. I didn't expect him to, because again, like I told her, I said, I love you, bro. I do. But here's what where I think you're going wrong. But this is what he came up with. This is what he's doing on, well, I'm sure it's probably on Threads and X and TikTok and Instagram and everything else. But I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up so you guys can watch right along with me here. And this is Jason from the Jam Pod. And let me make sure you guys can see this. All right. And yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and play this. Check this out, y'all.
Spends millions of dollars to get senators elected so that.
Also, for those of you who are not watching, this video starts off with a banner that says AIPAC attacks Black Michigan. Okay. AIPAC attacks Black Michigan. All right, here we go.
Millions of dollars to get senators elected. AIPAC spends millions of dollars to get senators elected so that they keep us doing the genocide. AIPAC is spending millions of dollars in Michigan to get a senator elected to make sure we keep doing the genocide. AIPAC is using a black man's face to get a white woman elected so that she keeps doing the genocide. AIPAC groups are putting out ads in Michigan and running them thousands of times that insinuate that Barack Obama endorsed Haley Stevens because one time she worked in his administration.
Stevens, Chief of Staff for President Obama's auto rescue, saving over 200,000 Michigan jobs.
Haley Stevens, she was a critical part of my team that helped the American auto industry come roaring back.
That industry roared back so hard, by the way, that the United Auto Workers, who, did the recovery, ended up endorsing Abdul El-Sayed for Senate, but that's besides the point. AIPAC isn't the only PAC that Haley Stevens has in her bag. Haley Stevens has accepted money from Delta, Goldman Sachs, United Health Group, DTE, and SpaceX. Ask what Elon thinks about black people, by the way. And people are trying to act as though there's a serious conversation to be had about what black people should choose in the state of Michigan. Anybody acting as though there's a serious conversation to be had about who black people should choose in the state of Michigan is trying to lie to you. Abdul El-Sayed served in Wayne County's health department, trying to combat overdoses and making Narcan widely available. Wayne County is 36% black. Abdul El-Sayed served in Detroit's health department, spearheading a program giving thousands of free glasses to children. Detroit is 75% black. Anybody acting as though Haley Stevens is more reputable to the black community is only doing so because she's the more moderate option, and also because they probably share a lot of the same donors, including AIPAC. The United Auto Workers, while we're at it, sent the super PAC that's supporting Haley Stevens a cease and desist after it used the union's logo illegally, because oh yeah, the ones whom jobs that Haley worked to save endorsed her opponent because she quite clearly is not pro-union enough. I mean, how could you be with all of those corporate donations? Herein lies the problem. Corporate PAC money and AIPAC money is becoming more and more unpopular. It's becoming that way because because everyone's beginning to realize that the reason why this great American powerful government can't do any transformative change is because everything has to go past the board of fucking billionaires first. If those billionaires are in the healthcare industry, you're not finding Medicare for all happening because it would put them out of business. If those donors are landlords, you're not seeing reparations or affordable housing that's actually quality being prioritized. So with fascist oligarchs taking more and more of our economy, leaving less and less for normal people, buying off more and more politicians, and candidates like Haley Stevens embodying all of that corruption, our black political centers have this to say about it. Leaders we've entrusted with power seem to be able to mention that.
Okay, at this particular point, he's highlighting some posts that Jasmine Crockett posted on Threads. Okay, now I'm gonna read to you guys because I'm cognizant of the fact that everybody's not watching this. I'm gonna read to you guys what Jasmine Crockett actually said in these posts. Okay, she says, "We will see what happens because someone asked, said Black Detroit Dems, I'm being nosy. What's going down over there? I keep hearing that Haley Stevens got y'all vote." Again, this is from someone who isn't from the Michigan and Detroit area, right? Jasmine Crockett says, "Well, we'll see what happens. But as an outsider, I know you said Detroit, but I've seen a couple people ask this question. I'm curious to see what happens. I spent many days on the road for the Harris Waltz campaign in battlegrounds like Michigan. I can tell you that Haley was campaigning and possibly building relationships and rapport. She also spends a lot of time focusing on her record as it relates to the auto industry during the Obama administration. And finally, I've personally seen her at black churches, NAACP events, etc., prior to running for Senate. I think black folk tend to lean toward people that they have seen prior to needing something from them. I can't say that Dr. Abdul El-Sayed has or hasn't. Your question was about Haley, so that's the insight. That's because he's got text over this. It's giving insight. So I'm giving insight into what I've seen, and yes, she's always been quirky and at the same time in all of those settings. So that's what she's saying. This is what I guess he's about to argue against.
That, this white woman was at a black church before and went to NAACP events. And I don't really know if Abdul's done the same or what both campaigns are doing right now, but, just giving my take, or in less words, equivocating. So let me not equivocate real quick. There is a subsect of the Democratic Party.
So Jasmine Crockett says on social media what her experience has been here in Michigan, what her experience has been with Haley Stevens in Michigan, and is just dismissed as equivocating, right? It's just dismissed. Jasmine Crockett, who isn't even from here, who has been here doing some campaigning, says she saw Haley Stevens in black churches, at NAACP events. She wasn't there campaigning for votes or anything like that. She was just there. She was there, building a relationship with folk. Okay? Building a relationship with folks. Like, it's one thing to these motherfuckers only come around when they want us, when it's time for us to vote, but we never see them. But if she's there when it ain't even time for her, her seat ain't even up yet. And she had she's not even running for Senate at the time. And you see her at these events around, around the black community, and she's not running for anything at that particular moment. Yeah, you could be a cynical motherfucker. Like, I'm sure we all kind of cynical, but you can be like, well, damn, she don't have to be here, but she is. And to a lot of folk, that means something. And so I know this is a young man. I think he's probably in his 20s or something like that. But as you get older, you'll start recognizing that stuff means stuff to people. When those voters, when those politicians come around, not just when they need your vote. We bitch and moan about that shit all the time. That they only come around when they need us to vote for them. Well, here it is. She's out here in the community making herself available to those she's responsible to. And now you coming at Jasmine Crockett, who was everybody's darling when she was just like in the house, and she was just supposed to be in the house, being the clapback queen and everything else. But now that she's actually speaking up on behalf of somebody and not even denigrating Abdul El-Sayed. Didn't even denigrate. She's like, I'm just not aware if he's done that or not. He may have. I don't know. But this is what I know of her. And it's dismissed as equivocating. This is a problem for y'all. Y'all are not doing him any favors, man.
Party, whether it's staffers or consultants, that still want to ride the coattails of name recognition at all costs. Don't worry about the policies or the background of the person. Just know that you like Obama, right? Then vote for the person who Obama said before. You see a lot more equivocation than you should because oftentimes the fire is in the house. But if you're black and in Michigan, you should be voting for Abdul El-Sayed. Not just because I interviewed him, but because when I did interview him, we talked about how our healthcare system incentivizes racial discrimination at the point of service because private health insurance doesn't reimburse black people at the same rate as government programs do. Why? Because they can turn a profit that way. So until she provides me a solution that isn't just tinkering around the edges in what these corporations say is acceptable to find the middle ground between the half measure but no equivocation on our genocide, the proportion of black votes she should get should be lower than the accuracy of this black scent that she did or some shit.
And you better believe I'm going to be doing it with a little bit of joy, a little bit of enthusiasm, a little bit of energy, and a little bit of stick it to them. Because that's the Michigan way.
AIPAC spends.
All right. So here's the other part I think is very interesting. Abdul El-Sayed had to come out on social media and tell his supporters, it's like, stop coming after her because of like the way she talks and the way that she looks and shit. Because that's not what the campaign is about. We have political differences or whatever, but she can't do anything about how she looks or how she talks and everything else. But that has been a thing that they kind of latched on to, is talking about how this lady looks, how she talks and everything else. But again, the implication that black people, black voters in Michigan, in Detroit specifically, can't understand who these people are. I don't understand who these people are, but all of these outsiders do, is very motherfucking insulting. Okay? It's very insulting. So he isn't the only one that I kind of wanted to address on this, though. There was another video that I kind of wanted to get to, and this is a young lady. I think her name is Sabby. She's on YouTube, and she did this video, and it says Obama ad in Michigan is fake. Now this, she has 406,000 subscribers on YouTube, so she's got a pretty nice audience, man, pretty nice sized audience. But she also leans into this idea that Detroiters, black voters in Detroit, don't know what the fuck they're voting for. Don't know who Haley Stevens is. Don't know who Abdul El-Sayed is. Like, that we are oblivious to who these folks are. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull this up so you guys can watch. You know, like I said, right along with me. With me. Let me make sure you guys can see this. And yeah, man. Because again, I just think this is, you know, it's problematic. It's problematic as fuck, bro.
Michigan, I'm sure you're very much aware of this. And these are your choices. And I'm going to explain to you how Obama is now in the middle of all of this as well, and what he is not doing to stop it right now. Your choices. So
it's also incumbent upon Obama to do something about this also, right? The people of Michigan are being misled, and it's up to the Obama administration. It's up to Obama to actually come out here and right this wrong. Okay.
In Michigan are Haley Stevens, who has taken so much pro-Israel money, it is absolutely insane.
Now, right now, she's highlighting a Track AIPAC screenshot or whatever. I've seen conflicting opinions about the veracity of like how much credence we should give Track AIPAC. Like, some of the totals that they come up with aren't necessarily accurate, and also some of the like, they're very broad in how they equate what equates AIPAC money and what doesn't. And so anytime I start seeing these Track AIPAC, you know, sort of screenshots, when people use these as their ace in the hole, I'm like, all right, man, whatever. Because, like, again, who like the information isn't necessarily reliable. I get that folks want to use it, and that's okay, but I kind of roll my eyes when I see them, though.
over $20 million. Or Abdul El-Sayed, no pro-Israel money. These are your choices right now in Israel. The polling is showing that if El-Sayed wins, he has the better chance to go on to win the general.
In Michigan, both of them have a better chance of beating Mike Rogers. But if you actually took the time to listen to people from Michigan, you would know this. Both of them have a very good chance of beating Mike Rogers. Mike Rogers, who doesn't even really live in the state of Michigan, but resides in Florida. Michiganders know that. But y'all not listening to us. Y'all, like, too many people are getting on microphones across the nation to preach to Michigan voters. Meanwhile, y'all don't know everything that's going on here and who the candidates are. Both of them can beat Mike Rogers. Both of them.
Against a Republican. That's what the numbers are showing.
She don't even know who the damn candidate is.
But here's the problem, okay? The problem is the money is funny, honey. Because it's not just that 20 million that Haley Stevens has taken from the pro-Israel lobby. It's everything else that she is doing that should give you pause. And I hope that this is not the case, but I am very concerned. Based on what I saw today, it's not looking good. And it's not because El-Sayed isn't doing the groundwork. It's because of the money. A lot of times, the candidate oftentimes that has the most money is the one that wins. Hopefully that does not happen in Michigan. But let me show you just how corrupt Haley is.
Hi, everyone. It's Congresswoman Haley Stevens, proudly representing Michigan's 11th district. On my primary election night, I wanted to thank AIPAC and the pro-Israel community. Our values spoke very loudly this evening. Thank you from the bottom of my heart.
This woman who...
First of all, think about this for a second. Just think about this for a second. That music sounded very ominous, right? Sounded very ominous. And it's as though if you're watching this particular ad that they're showing, it doesn't seem as though that's the music that they would have chosen to highlight her thanking them, right? Because that was apparently like an ad for AIPAC. She won apparently her primary at that time for the 11th district in Illinois, in Michigan. It sounded very ominous. It sounded like an attack ad almost. And she's saying thank you. The shit doesn't even add up. So I haven't looked more into this. I'm going to look more into this to see the veracity of like the authenticity of that particular video. But yeah, like here's the thing also. I need y'all to understand this. And I know some of y'all online and how we talk about this, y'all not gonna like this, but I'm gonna give y'all just a heads up. People have other concerns that they're voting on that have absolutely nothing to do with AIPAC. AIPAC probably isn't even in the top 5 issues at all when they go to the voting booth. This is one of those things where the conversation online oftentimes doesn't match the conversation that is happening in the real world. There are a lot of people who have other concerns where they don't even know the name AIPAC, don't even give a fuck about the name AIPAC, don't care nothing about it. And I know y'all would say, oh, they're misinformed or they're low information voters and all these things. And I'm saying, yeah, you might be right. But also is like, they're concerned about AIPAC going to get, their health care lowered. How about their child care? Are they going to be able to get their child care, the cost of that lowered? They're thinking on those terms. They're not thinking about AIPAC. in this pro-Jewish lobby or this pro-Israel lobby. They're not thinking on those terms. They're thinking, hey, man, can this motherfucker help me get the light bill down? Can this motherfucker help me put groceries on the table? Because the current people that are running the shit right now have ran the damn tab up. So I need to figure out, we got to figure out something. We got to get some different motherfuckers up in there. Right? So I'm not even saying that y'all are wrong on the AIPAC shit. Not even saying that. I'm saying that you are talking to a group of people, or you're talking about a group of people whose main concern is not this. It is not AIPAC. All right?
Every now and then, she kind of reminds me of that little girl in the movie The Exorcist. This woman has a lot of money and a powerful team behind her.
She's also a sitting U.S. Congresswoman. What the fuck do you expect? She's a sitting United States Congresswoman. Like, to act as though, like, yo, she's got a lot of money and a lot of people. But yeah, Abdul El-Sayed isn't a stranger to Michigan voters. He ran for governor here against Gretchen Whitmer. Shit didn't work out well for him. But it's not as though people in Detroit and people in Michigan don't know who the fuck he is. He lost in the primary to Gretchen Whitmer. Largely because Gretchen Whitmer actually, campaigned on a whole, I would say a whole state level type thing. El-Sayed kind of like didn't necessarily go out west. I mean, because when people think about Michigan, yeah, they probably think about Detroit. But we do have cities like Kalamazoo, which are kind of like west central Michigan. You got cities like Grand Rapids, we're on the western part of the state. You got cities like a little bit up north, like Saginaw, where my wife is from. Like that's a large contingent of voters there. You got Muskegon and you got Marquette. Like Michigan is not a small state. And I know, I get that like a large contingent of the voting populace is concentrated in the Southeast Michigan area. But yeah, there's other parts of the state. And El-Sayed's problem was that he didn't reach out to the other parts of the state. But if you were listening to Michigan people from people who actually live here, then you would know that, yeah, El-Sayed didn't, reach out to everybody. And so that resulted in him not being governor. And so now he's running again for another statewide office, and it may not work well for him again, right? And this is even just on some Democratic shit. I said the same thing about John James, right? For those of you who are not familiar, John James is currently the Republican frontrunner for governor. He's running for governor now. But John James has never won a statewide election here in the state, and this will be his third time trying. I remember he ran for both Senate seats. He lost both of them. He ran against Gary Peters. He ran against Debbie Stabenow. I'm sorry, not Debbie Stabenow. Was it Debbie Stabenow? It might have been Debbie Stabenow or Alyssa Slotkin. He ran against one of them. I mean, basically both Senate seats he ran for, and he lost. So he didn't win a statewide race. What did he do? He found him a very Trump-friendly Republican district to run in, and he ran in that district. He won in that district, and now he's running for governor. And even with that, even in his time as being the congressperson from I forget, I don't know exactly what the number of his district is, but he doesn't do any town halls with his district. He doesn't talk to the people in his district. And now he's running for statewide office again, but he's got Trump's endorsement. So he thinks he's going to be able to ride Trump's endorsement to the governor's seat. And one of those Republican candidates just dropped out and endorsed him because Trump endorsed him, because they're all Trump sycophants. They think that Trump is the way to go, and they don't have any motherfucking ideas of their own. Right? I say all that to say that, like, yo, El-Sayed maybe he's on his, okay, this is my second time going for statewide office. Maybe I should run for a smaller office and actually produce something that people can kind of give me a record on, and then I can go for this statewide shit. Maybe. But as it stands right now, El-Sayed does not have any public service record in the ways in which a lot of these other politicians do here in Michigan. And that means something. It means something.
And that's just one of the things that you should be concerned about. But also, she's goofy as hell.
Okay. Again, Abdul El-Sayed has had to come out on social media to tell his supporters to stop talking about the way this woman talks and the way this woman looks. And this is what she's going for already. Y'all are not doing y'all candidate any motherfucking favors. I'm telling y'all are not. So I'm gonna skip through this because it doesn't, it's dumb. But let's see. It was another part of this particular video that I want to speak to. I think it's here. Let's see.
Don't see what you and I see, and they don't look as far as you and I look. Right? Here's the first one, the ads. This is the ad that her campaign just launched against El-Sayed.
Leaders of Democratic women's groups call Abdul El-Sayed's attacks on Haley Stevens sexist and the same tired playbook used against women. That's what El-Sayed does. El-Sayed called Michelle Obama's work uninspired and ineffectual. He claimed Gretchen Whitmer was bought and sold, and an employee said they were offered payment to keep silent after witnessing El-Sayed disparaging women. Let's reject Abdul El-Sayed's sexist attacks. UDP is responsible for the content of this ad.
So does everybody see what's happening now? Let's go back to that other part, Corey. Does everybody see what's happening now? So now they're going with the he don't like women smear. El-Sayed is sexist. That's what they're going with now. And see, this is what and this is the thing. Okay, so he said Michelle Obama was uninspiring. How is that sexist?
Might not necessarily be sexist, but I can't see how it'd be like I can't see how that would like benefit him at all either. If he said that, I can't see how that would be beneficial to him. Also, like, I get being sensitive to some attacks on the candidate of your choice. I get it. Trust me, I do. But you're not saying that he didn't say it. You're not saying he didn't say it. You just say, well, is it sexist that he said it? And to a large group of folk whom Abdul El-Sayed has to make himself palatable to, coming after Michelle Obama ain't the way to do that. You can't, unless you can say he just did not say that, then just saying, well, it wasn't sexist just because he said that. No, but it's still fucked up. It's still fucked up.
This is going to be a thing, guys. This is going to be used over and over again. So why don't you see El-Sayed's ad that he put out about his family and his family roots?
Where did Abdul El-Sayed come from?
Here.
We're his grandparents.
We helped raise him.
He became a doctor.
He always wanted to help people.
He got all those kids glasses.
Eliminated medical debt.
Poof.
He buys us groceries every week. He knows what things cost.
Now he's running around with Bernie Sanders trying to change politics.
We love him, and so will you. Too much. I'm Abdul El-Sayed, and I prove that.
Now, again, he in his ad, he's toting, his endorsements by Bernie Sanders and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. And I like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. I think she's a very formidable politician. I think she's the funny thing is, I think she's moderated in ways that a lot of these folks don't necessarily I don't think a lot of folks on this particular part of the left would even acknowledge. She has not been as a firebrand as much as them would like for her to be, because I think she understands now how governing works. Right? And so because she now understands how governing works and kind of taking herself out of the social media sort of, the discourse on how people talk about this shit on social media, she's been a much more effective politician, I believe, since she's done that. Right. But Bernie Sanders And the Bernie Bros. I told y'all, man, I think the Bernie Bros haven't gone anywhere. They just kind of rebranded. And we're seeing remnants of this because in the ways in which they are campaigning now. They feel like, okay, we're just going to try to take over the party as opposed to working with those who are there to, kind of coalesce our ideas together and bring forth a better party. No, we're just going to try to take y'all shit over. Because, again, Bernie Sanders was never a Democrat. He's always been an independent. He just ran with the Democrats when it came to him wanting to run for president. All right?
The heck out of this message.
So this is important because Dr. Abdul El-Sayed said, my family roots in mid-Michigan trace back to the early 1800s. I lived with my grandma and grandpa during my time at Michigan, and they've always had my back. They mean the world to me. That's how far back his family line goes in Michigan. So that's important for people to see. But we can go to the next part, Corey. I believe that sexist comment ad is going to work on some people. This is the sad part. And I believe it because some of the other ads that she released that are already working on some people, like this Obama one. This is where Obama gets into the picture. Haley Stevens' campaign.
Here's what I really want to get into.
Released an ad showing that Barack Obama apparently supported her, or it gives people the impression that Obama endorsed her campaign. When in actuality, Obama has not endorsed any candidate in this race.
And here's the rub. Most voters in Detroit, black voters in Detroit specifically, most of them know this already. We're aware of that. Perfectly aware of that. But I think this is where I think this is the most insulting, is that y'all think that we don't know the difference between a campaign ad and an endorsement. Right? Y'all think that the people here don't understand the difference between a campaign ad and an endorsement. And y'all also are underestimating the relationships between Haley Stevens in Southeast Michigan with the black community and Abdul El-Sayed's relationship with the black community in Southeast Michigan, and why these ads y'all think are effective because of the Obama effect. No, they might just be effective because better yet, I'm gonna just let me shut the fuck up. I'm gonna let her do her thing, and then I'm gonna come back.
Here is that ad. This ad is working on a lot of people, and I'm gonna show you how many people are falling for it.
My husband worked
She gonna show y'all about 3 niggas. 3.
at Ford for 41 years.
My father worked for General Motors for 30 years.
And when they came for our auto jobs,
Haley Stevens stood up.
She was chief of staff to President Obama's auto rescue.
And Haley Stevens, by the way, she was a critical part of my team that helped the American auto industry come roaring back.
that saved 200,000 Michigan jobs.
She helped save jobs for my own family.
If President Obama trusts her,
so do I.
Stronger Michigan is responsible for the content of this ad.
Everybody see this? Okay, let's go back. And I'm going to debunk some things here. Here we go.
My husband worked at Ford for 41 years.
My father worked for General Motors for 30 years.
And when they came for our auto jobs,
Haley Stevens stood up.
She was chief of staff to President Obama's auto rescue.
And Haley Stevens, by the way, she was a critical part of my team that helped the American auto industry come roaring back.
Okay, yes, she was part of his staff for that auto industry fight there. Yes, she was. That's true. However, this last part is not true. This video that they are showing during this ad is an old video.
No shit.
And they are showing it to make it seem as though Obama is saying this about her recently. Most people are not going to have the time to decipher this the way that you and I do.
Okay. And again, like I said, this is a result of you not being from here. Okay? This is a result of you being from the outside of here and thinking that we don't know that Haley Stevens used Obama in her ads. You know why? because this isn't the first time that Haley Stevens has used this exact video for Obama in a campaign ad for herself. She did this shit 4 years ago, too. She used this video, this audio and video of Obama talking about her being the chief of staff of his auto bailout here in Michigan when she ran for the seat that she currently sits in right now. I think the insulting thing is that you think that Michigan voters, black Michigan voters, are not aware of this. And this is why I keep saying y'all are not doing your man Abdul El-Sayed and he's fucking like, you're not doing him any favors. You're not. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and just real quick, I'm gonna show y'all just how I'm gonna show y'all. I'm gonna show y'all this particular campaign ad because this is a campaign ad from 4 years ago. You're gonna see the same fucking, pretty much the same fucking video on this ad from 4 years ago. Let me do this here. Boom. Boom. All right. Check this out. This is her running for re-election for her seat 4 years ago and using the Obama campaign. The Obama footage for her campaign ad. Check this out.
One thing I learned as chief of staff to President Obama's auto rescue, never bet against Michigan manufacturers.
The auto industry was about to go belly up. And Haley Stevens, by the way, she was there. She was a critical part of my team that helped the American auto industry come roaring back.
I'm Haley Stevens, and in Congress, I'm working with manufacturers to lead our country through its next recovery. I approve this message because the Michigan auto industry drives the American economy.
That was 4 years ago. So I'm going to need y'all to come up with something else about this lady. And I'm going to need y'all to actually start touting Abdul El-Sayed's like bona fides as to why he should be the next senator from the from the state of Michigan. Because the idea that Haley Stevens is tricking so many black voters in Michigan with her, oh, they think Obama endorsed her. It's like, no, we know the difference between a motherfucking campaign ad and a goddamn endorsement. And to act as though Michigan voters, black Detroit voters don't know that is fucking insulting. And you're not doing that dude no favors by acting as though black people, Detroiters, don't know the difference between a fucking campaign ad and a goddamn endorsement. All right? Now, she's going to show you some, there's footage that I've seen that she's going to show of this one guy. There's going to be one dude, one that says, I'm doing this because Obama said it. Right? One guy. And then there's going to be some other black folks who say, well, yeah, you know, I'm not anti-Israel and stuff like that. But again, it's because black voters in Michigan aren't necessarily thinking on this shit in ways in which y'all are talking about this shit online. They've got other things that they feel are much more important than whether or not AIPAC is funding her campaign. Now, again, you might have a gripe with that, maybe. But I'm telling you what the reality is on the ground. And the reality is on the ground, hey, man, a lot of these folks got concerns that ain't got shit to do with AIPAC. AIPAC ain't even in the top 5 of they shit. And y'all keep talking about AIPAC. Y'all keep talking about Gaza. But, hey, I ain't trying to hear, these folks ain't trying to hear about Gaza when they trying to put food on the table. They ain't trying to hear about Gaza when they trying to put gas in the tank. They ain't trying to hear about Gaza when they trying to find a new gig. That's they feel sorry for those folks over there, but I'm dealing with issues right here at home. Right? This is something I've been saying for a minute. It's not that folks don't care. I'm aware and I do care, but I'm also cognizant of the fact there's some shit at home that we need to be dealing with, and I can't put that above the shit here at home. And a lot of people are voting in that way, right? So, yeah, we got that going on. Let me pull her back up though. Let me pull her back up. All right. So again, y'all just saw that footage from the ad from 4 years ago. Okay. Here she go.
It's a 30-second ad. It goes pretty quickly and it's sneaky and it's grimy. And I'm trying to tell you guys, the same energy that was used against Thomas Massie when it comes to the ads, the same thing is happening in Michigan. And unfortunately, people are falling for it. Now, the part here at the end.
That saved 200,000 Michigan jobs.
She helped save jobs for my own family.
If President Obama trusts her,
So do I.
Stronger.
If President Obama trusts her, so do I. But ladies and gentlemen, Obama did not endorse her.
And the ad didn't say that he did. And this is the thing that I think y'all are going to have to come off of, because the ad didn't say that he endorsed her, nor did the mailers say that he endorsed her. So check this out. Here's a mailer that I got here at my house. Okay. I got this mailer here at my crib. This is from the Haley Stevens campaign. It says, Black voters will play a decisive role in choosing Michigan's next Democratic U.S. Senator. Black voters are the backbone of Michigan's Democratic Party. Let's support a candidate who will win in November. 3 easy ways to vote, and it tells you how to vote. I've already voted, and it wasn't for her, and it wasn't for Abdul El-Sayed. I've already told y'all that. Then on the back, it says the Democratic primary vote is here. Here's how to vote. Receive an absentee ballot, return today. And then it does highlight an endorsement that she did get from former Congresswoman Brenda Lawrence, who says, from helping save 200,000 Michigan jobs as chief of staff during the President Obama's auto rescue to fighting for Black-owned businesses in Congress and standing up to Donald Trump's chaos, I've seen Haley fight and I've seen her win. Okay? This is from a former Congresswoman who represented Detroit, Brenda Lawrence. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. That's Brenda Lawrence. She's a former Congresswoman from Detroit. Okay? Here's the other part that I'll just make it plain. If Abdul El-Sayed had footage of Barack Obama speaking glowingly of him, Abdul El-Sayed would have commercials on all of the social medias and all of the TVs telling you how well he does with Barack Obama. Let's keep it a buck. Let's not pretend here, bro. If there was footage of Barack Obama speaking well of Abdul El-Sayed, he would have those commercials running at a loop, because he also understands how popular Barack Obama is with the Black community, but also how popular he is with the Black community here in Detroit. We used to have gas stations here in Detroit named after Obama. There was a tire shop that had Obama's name. There was an ice cream truck with Obama all over the motherfucker, man. Obama was loved here in the D. Okay? So I think there's nervousness in the fact that, yeah, she's got some bona fides. We don't necessarily like that Obama spoke so highly of her, and we've got to make a problem of that. So we've now got to somehow make it as though she's fooling the people that live there. And that's not what's happening, man. That's just not what's happening.
And there are many people who saw this and they have decided that based on this ad alone, because they believe Obama endorsed her, they decided to vote for her. Some of them that you're going to hear from that already voted, they did early voting. Does everybody see how this game is played? Now, apparently don't seem to be any rules around this kind of thing. But this is another.
What rule do you want? What rule did she break? She didn't say Obama endorsed her. She played video of Obama speaking about her glowingly. At some point, he did trust her with the auto rescue that he did here in Detroit. They did save 200,000 jobs here in Detroit. I want y'all to point to the lie. Show me where the lie is. Because y'all are saying it like, yo, she's making people think that she endorsed her. Like, well, there was not an endorsement there. There was no endorsement there. Okay? Now, again, like I said, she's going to show y'all one motherfucker who said, because Obama said so. One. Because black Detroiters aren't stupid, man. And y'all going to stop acting as though black Detroiters are. And I say this as someone with no horse in this one right now. Mine is gone. My ballot is done. I done already voted. It's done. As a matter of fact, I kind of feel like this is a public service announcement for the El-Sayed campaign and everybody that supports him. Y'all are not doing yourselves any fucking favors by insulting the black community in and around the Detroit area. You're not.
Their mind game that they're playing with people. And if you look at what is said here, just to give you an example, this gentleman here, Sam Robinson, went around Detroit and he was asking people, and black people, pay attention.
It wasn't a lot of places around Detroit. I know where he was at. He was on Livernois Avenue. He was on the Avenue of Fashion. I drive through here all the time on my way back and forth from work. Okay. He's on the Avenue of Fashion on Livernois. This is where this is happening. And I think there's one other location. He wasn't going around the city. There were two locations, the Avenue of Fashion and then someplace else.
President Tellerico, glad to have you.
Sorry.
But this is another mind game that they're playing with people. And if you look at what is said here, just to give you an example, this gentleman here, Sam Robinson, went around Detroit and he was asking people, and black people, pay attention, because he went around to different voters asking them who they were going to support. Another thing that she did, her press secretary is a black woman. See, this is by design. So you're going to see her press secretary.
So now it's nefarious that she has a black press secretary. Come the fuck on, y'all. Come the fuck on. I mean, think about it. Come the fuck on, man.
In this video, I'll point her out. Listen to this.
She's running. She works with Barack Obama. She works Michigan's.
That's her press secretary. That's the person out there trying to get voters for her. Yes, Eric, Detroit, wake up. Yes. And see, she's smart because
apparently Eric ain't from here. Same way Sabby ain't from here. You don't know what Detroiters need to wake up from. All you know is what you've been told on social media.
She knew I will have a black person as a press secretary because that'll help me get the black voters. Listen to what they say.
Workforce. She's doing everything she can. She's always out in the streets campaigning, looking for your vote. So August 4th, come out and vote for Haley Stevens.
Now think about what her press secretary said, though. She's always been in the community. She's always been in the community. And we just heard Jasmine Crockett say the same thing. So are they lying? I mean, real talk. Are they lying? Straight up. I want y'all to point to some lies, man. Make like some real lies. What is she lying about? How is she misleading these people? Point out a blatant fucking lie. And if you can't do that, then maybe you should probably choose another line of attack.
See this? One of the guys there said he already voted for her. Y'all see how this game works?
But you didn't even know why he voted for her, though. You don't know why. He said he already voted for her, but you don't know why.
Now, some of you may be wondering, well, why isn't, El-Sayed, putting out a different campaign against this? I'm going to get into the money about the ads in just a second, but this is something I think that people need to understand. When you are running against these establishment candidates that put out these 30-second ads on TV over and over and over again, it is not enough to just have ads on social media. this is, and I know that requires a lot of money because those ads are incredibly expensive, but it seems like to me, something I've noticed over and over again is that you have to remember there's a segment of voters that are not on social media like that. There's a segment of voters that only see those ads that are on TV or that are on the radio.
Now, here's the thing. I will agree with her on that. That there are voters here that aren't online in the ways in which a lot of folks like us, those of you who are listening to me and who will probably watch my channel, you guys are online, right? You aren't necessarily out, you're not looking for me on television, right? That's not gonna happen. But I'm saying that I get that. But the idea that because these folks are getting there, they are getting their information from the television, as though they don't have other means of getting their information like newspapers, because people still read newspapers despite the fact that newspaper subscriptions have gone down. A lot of folks are getting their news online and everything else, and that has kind of in some ways been a detriment in large ways, in my opinion, so much because we've gotten to these silos and shit. Y'all know what I mean. But the idea that because they're getting their some of their information from the television means that they're being misled. It's like, yeah, they could be, but you don't know how they're buttressing that information that they're getting on the television. You don't know who they're talking to. You don't know what their living situation is. You don't know what their working situation is. You don't know what their calculus is and how they choose the candidates in which they choose. And to act as though if you're not online, you're not informed, that's, again, you not doing your candidate you're not doing your candidate any good, right? Now, I'm gonna this is a half-hour video for her. I'm almost 2 hours into this podcast, so I'm gonna start wrapping this shit up. But here's what I want to here's the overall message that I want to give y'all, right? For those of you who are concerned about how the primary here in Michigan may turn out, it is a toss-up here. It is a toss-up between Abdul El-Sayed, and it is a toss-up between him and Haley Stevens. Again, you've got a lot of people who were Mallory McMorrow supporters who are trying to figure out who they want to vote for, because they wanted to vote for her and they didn't turn in their shit as soon as I turned my shit in, right? They did, but they're trying to figure it out. And they're watching how this stuff plays out. They're watching how some of this stuff is happening online and how Abdul El-Sayed has to come out and talk to his supporters and say, hey, stop talking about the way that she looks. Stop talking about the way that she talks. Let's just keep it to what our policy differences are, right? And I actually got a lot of respect for Abdul El-Sayed for actually coming out and saying that, hey, man, but it's also kind of an indictment, too, of his supporters. Hey, y'all losing the fucking plot here. Y'all losing the plot here. Right? Y'all going way too motherfucking hard. I appreciate y'all going out for me, but y'all are going way too hard on these ladies' appearance and the way that she talks. That doesn't have anything to do with our policy differences. Let's keep it to the policy shit. And I respect that. I do. I really fucking do. But I've been watching this discourse happen over the course of the last couple of weeks, getting more and more incensed. Because I'm like, what the fuck are y'all thinking about? What are y'all doing? To the point where, as much as y'all say, y'all want all, this goes back to, remember when I told y'all about Bernie Sanders' Achilles heel being his blind spot of prioritizing class over race? And when Bernie Sanders kept talking about class issues while minimizing racial issues, it kept him at a disadvantage with black voters, because black voters are also a part of some of these other classes. Hey, I'm in the middle class, Bernie, but guess what? I'm black too. I can be in this middle class and the police still wants to shoot me for no fucking reason. I can be in the middle class and the real estate industry wants to lowball me on the appraisal of my house because I'm black. So until we deal with you can't divorce these from me. And if you reduce what I'm dealing with to identity politics, as though that's something you shouldn't worry about anymore, then that's where you lose me. And that's where a lot of the Democratic socialist DSA people lose a lot of black voters. Okay? That's where y'all losing folk, especially in the black community. All right? Now, another thing that I wanted to kind of highlight, and this is just for those of you who are curious about the landscape of the Michigan electorate and why El-Sayed may be dealing with who might be dealing with a deficit. Y'all do remember that there was an uncommitted vote that came through here. There's the uncommitted movement that started right here in Michigan during the Democratic primaries in 2024. And at the time, I said it then, I get it for the primary. We ain't got time for that shit for the general. Right? Y'all remember me saying this? I've said this. I've been saying this shit for 2 years, bro. We don't have time for that shit in the general. I get it in the primary. That uncommitted movement morphed into the Abandon Harris movement, which led to Donald Trump winning in Dearborn, Michigan. That's what happened. Donald Trump won Dearborn, Michigan. All right? And so when Donald Trump won in Dearborn, hey, man, you had a whole lot of black folk who were like, nigga, what? Like, hold on, y'all did what? Y'all sat on your ass, y'all didn't vote, or y'all voted for Jill Stein. Y'all blamed Kamala Harris for the decisions of her boss, who was, at the time, Joe Biden. Y'all blamed him. Okay, I get y'all mad at him, but y'all blaming this black lady for the decisions of this white man, and y'all gonna hold her accountable for the decisions of this white man for the genocide that's happening in Gaza. Okay. Now, Abdul El-Sayed, was one of those folk who was also a supporter of the uncommitted movement, right? He was a supporter of that. Now, a lot of El-Sayed supporters will tell you that when Kamala Harris announced her candidacy and Joe Biden dropped out, that El-Sayed was a supporter of Kamala Harris. Okay. El-Sayed, to his credit, put out a tweet that said he would support Kamala Harris. A tweet. We didn't see El-Sayed on the campaign trail for Kamala Harris. We didn't see El-Sayed out in the streets of Michigan, Dearborn, Detroit, or otherwise, telling folks to vote for Kamala Harris. They always point to that one motherfucking tweet of Abdul El-Sayed saying that he would support Kamala Harris in the general election. Okay? Here's why that's a problem for him. You got a lot of black people in the Southeast Michigan area who still remember what the uncommitted movement did and how it morphed and how those folks were moving around the time that Kamala Harris was running for president of the United States. They still remember the T-shirts, or better yet, the tents. Listen, I work all over Southeast Michigan. Okay, I saw the tents. You remember, for anybody whose sports teams have ever won a championship, okay, and you got your T-shirt vendors and shit. What they would do is they would set up a tent near like a gas station or a shopping center or a parking lot somewhere on the corner, and they would sell like the T-shirts of your championship and everything. They, and all that stuff, right? Well, that's kind of what it was around Dearborn, Michigan, when it came to the Abandoned Harris movement, where they were selling the Palestinian, they were kafayas and Abandoned Harris T-shirts and flags and things of that nature. They were selling Abandoned Harris paraphernalia all over fucking Dearborn, and we were watching them drive with these flags here in the Southeast Michigan area. We were watching them drive with these flags on their cars. Okay. And also, we remember people like this. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up so you guys can watch right on with your man Spann. But this isn't the first time that I play this. But we remember people like this guy when it came to how they were talking about Kamala Harris and her running for president.
For Satan, if I have to. If you want Donald Trump to win, say that. Bitch! I will vote for Satan if I have to. I don't care who we gotta deal with for the next 4 years, as long as you motherfuckers know that you fucked up and you guys are gonna deal with some type of repercussion for what happened for the last 10 months. I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure that bitch does not win and the Democrat Party loses the election. Fuck you guys. Vote for.
Now, I'm gonna let that play one more motherfucking time.
If you want Donald Trump to win, say that. Bitch, I will vote for Satan if I have to. I don't care who we gotta deal with for the next 4 years, as long as you motherfuckers know that you fucked up and you guys are gonna deal with some type of repercussion for what happened for the last 10 months. I'm gonna do everything I can to make sure that bitch does not win and the Democrat Party loses the election. Fuck you guys. Vote for if you want.
Yeah. So, black voters in Michigan remember shit like this. Black voters in Michigan understand that, what's happening in Gaza is fucked up. But this guy here thinks I should suffer here at home because he's upset with Joe Biden, but he's going to make sure that Kamala Harris, or as he says, that bitch, loses and that the Democrats suffer some repercussions. Now, here's the thing that I think he needed to understand. It wasn't the Democrats who were going to be suffering the repercussions. It was going to be people like him, like the people that he lived around, and the folks here at home who were going to be suffering repercussions based upon the actions of him and those who voted like him or did not vote like him. Okay? But understand that when you come at black voters, and it's not to say that this is El-Sayed's fault. It's not to even say that this is his fault. It is to say, though, that there was a time where he was aligned with some of these people. Now, he came up and said, he put a tweet out and said, hey, Kamala Harris. Yeah. Right? He put out a tweet, but we didn't see him out in these streets on behalf of Kamala Harris. And so when the nation comes at black voters and the nation decides that, hey, y'all need to make the right choice and vote El-Sayed. Black people in Detroit, y'all need to make the right choice and vote for El-Sayed. Like, hey, man, you don't fucking go here. You don't go here. Y'all are not doing El-Sayed in favors by talking to black voters in the ways that y'all are on social media. Y'all need to pump your fucking brakes. Stop talking to black voters in Michigan. Stop talking to black voters in Detroit as though they don't know what the fuck is going on here. we, more than any of y'all, understand more than any of y'all what the fuck is going on here. If you really want to help, hey, man, talk about something other than what's going on in Gaza. Talk about something other than the way that lady talks. Talk about something other than the way that lady looks. Talk about something that is going to tangibly affect the people in the state of Michigan and how they move forward. If you can't have that discussion, you should probably shut the fuck up. That is my public service announcement to the nation in regards to this Michigan Senate, this Democratic Michigan Senate primary. Y'all are not doing that guy any services by talking the way that y'all are talking, by insulting the voters here. Y'all are not. Y'all are not. And it may not necessarily work out in the way in which y'all want it to work out. And then when it doesn't necessarily work out in the way in which y'all want it to work out, y'all going to sit up and talk about how the people in Michigan they fucked up and it was the wrong thing, this, that, and other. It's like, yeah, it's because y'all weren't listening to the people who actually live here. So, yeah, man, we got that going on. Like I said, I went on a lot longer than I thought I would, but I felt like this shit needed to be said. So we got that going on, but let me get on up out of here. I got to get ready for work tomorrow. But before I get on up out of here, I got to remind you guys how to get in touch with me here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast and let your voice be heard. Go ahead and hit up that hotline at area code 313-288-0485. That's area code 313-288-0485. Leave those voicemail messages. Of course, those messages will get played here live on the show and responded to in kind. You can also hit me up on Threads and Instagram. My name on both of those platforms is Mr._Spann. So go ahead, follow me there. Chop it up with your man Spann throughout the week. Also, hit me up on YouTube, man. Go ahead, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Mr. Spann Official on YouTube, man. Subscribe to the channel. Like the videos. Comment on the videos. Those comments will be replied to here live on the show. So go ahead and do that, man. Help us out in that way. And get us in that YouTube bloodstream, man. We really appreciate you guys for doing that. Also, hit us up with a 5-star review on Spotify and or iTunes. Those 5-star reviews are the ones that get right here live in the show. We really appreciate you guys for doing that. Doesn't cost you a dime. Just a couple minutes of your time to let everybody know why you're rocking with us over here at the Mr. Spann Official Podcast. And also, hit us up at our store, man. Go ahead and cop yourself some merch, man. Get yourself a hoodie, man. Get yourself a coffee mug. Get yourself a laptop cover. Even go ahead, get yourself a hat, man.
We got some hats now, motherfuckers.
Yeah, we got hats in the store, man. So go ahead, cop yourself something, man. And really, it's a thank you. Those things are a thank you. For those of you who would support us in that way, man, we want you guys, for those of you who are going to give us some money, to get something tangible back. So we really appreciate you guys for doing that, man. Real talk. But yeah, like I said, man, I got to get ready to go to work tomorrow. Like I wasn't at work, but like 20 hours yesterday. But yeah, man, I will talk to you guys again soon. But yeah, until next time, family, peace. Well, what's happening here? I don't know what that was.